Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order. Intellectually petty radio on the stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And as always, on the mighty Nerve DJs Radio Network. Man, come on, man. You already know, bro. Legend after fucking legend after fucking legend. The old man is kicking these niggas' asses out here. Today is no exception. We got one of the dopest interviewers in the game in the history of vocal cords. This nigga Court got everybody from Ice-T to your grandma and interviewed them better than most people you've ever heard of. When I say Holding Court is one of the best podcasts, I'm not just talking shit. I'm keeping it funky with you. Coming to the platform, man. We got Big Court in the building. What's good, fam?
What's good? What's up with you, homie?
Oh, I'm good, man. How's life? How's your family?
Man, I'm blessed, brother. I can't complain. Man, I never had an intro like that, brother. I salute. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Yo, man, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like, I fucks with you. Like I watch your shit.
Brother.
Yeah, and well, you know what? Let's take it back, bro. Let's start from the beginning. You hold, well, you know what? I see you holding up the 4 all the time. What's the significance?
Oh. So that's funny you say that. People ask that often. So I'm born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. I've been in LA 20 years, but holding up the 4, I'm from a section in Kansas City called the 4 block. It's an area called the 40s. So I grew up in the 40s. And it's just paying homage to where I grew up. I was just talking about this on Facebook here recently, and I actually kind of got emotional because, I grew up in the 70s, coming through the crack era, coming through the gangbang era. And, I lost a lot of homeboys, a lot of friends, to drugs, mainly to violence, and just, all the heartbreak and the shattered dreams and all the shit that goes on with coming from the hood. So when I do the 4, that's to remind any young kid or anybody coming from my environment that, you can do it. You can do anything you want to do. I'm from right there. I'm just a kid from Kansas City, Missouri. So when they see me doing all the cool shit and being with celebrities, working with celebrities and doing what I do, they can be inspired and reminded that, just because of, how you start is not necessarily how you have to finish. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do that, just to represent the section.
So did you jump off the porch? You just hustling, just doing shit that normal kids do? What was life like before Big Court?
To be honest with you, brother, I had a beautiful childhood. I came from the hood. I was raised in the hood in the 40s. I was an only child, precocious only child. Listen, I was raised on love, not survival. So I was a blessed, spoiled, only child. I don't really know poverty and different things like that, even though we were in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. My people were probably middle class, so I had blessed birthdays, blessed Christmases and different things like that. But not only did I have the material things, but I also had the love and support, at home. So my childhood was beautiful, brother, growing up in the 80s and the 90s. Now, I will say, of course, in the house, education was a focal point. Again, I got love and support, but at the same time, you got to go outside. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I'm still influenced. I still have to go out and deal with the influences and deal with the different things. The element is outside.
I feel you.
Like I said, coming up in the crack era, the gangbang era, it is what it is. So yeah, I had to get down how I had to get down.
Because I was listening to you talk about when you moved to California, and not to be in your pockets or nothing, but you made mention of you had quite a significant amount of bread,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that shit didn't just fall out the sky. So you must have been doing something right in some aspect. We'll keep it at that. Why the move?
Um, there's a couple reasons, bro. I moved in my mid 20s, early mid 20s. I jumped off the porch in terms of the streets and entertainment early on. So, I had my first record deal with No Limit in 1995. I had pretty much done what I needed to do in Kansas City in terms of the local scene because I started as a rapper. So that mixed in with the streets and understanding that I was getting, I outgrew my city, I outgrew the circumstances there, and then also you have to go to where the game is being played. I mean, at that time, I wanted to expand past music and start entertaining, getting into movies, acting, producing. So you got to go to where the game is being played. This was before social media, so social media obviously has connected people from everywhere. But back then,
Yeah, you had to get
had
out
to
there and
be
get
up
it.
in people's face. You had to
Yeah,
be around them.
yeah.
So, and then too, I just knew that, anytime that I knew way back then, just like how you see these rappers, most people get killed in their hometown. They go to jail in their hometown,
Yeah.
So I understood that, okay, I'm getting to a point where, I can still stay connected, but I need to get away from here before get killed, kill somebody, or get indicted. So,
I feel
I
you on
took
that.
my talent
You
to LA.
you picked a wild ass spot to go to though, bruh. Like
What,
I'm gonna be
LA?
honest. Yes. Like
In what respect?
well, from my understanding, not ever being there, but just listening, got a chance to interview Lil Sodi, which saw your interview with Lil Sodi.
Yep,
Dope.
that's my brother.
But like just the politics there are unique.
Yeah. Well,
And coming from outside of that, especially the cat and you got a little money,
yeah.
that could be dicey.
No, it's very simple. It's very simple. It's only like that when you don't mind your business. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So,
Yeah.
I came out here for one, I ain't moved to the hood. I moved to Brentwood, so I've never, lived in the hood since I've been out here. So I've been in suburbs with the rich folk. But not only that, it's understanding how to maneuver. You know what I mean? When you're not square, you from that element, you understand how to maneuver, just like I have to now in the content space, I'm my own person. So I don't take sides, I don't do clicks, I don't do all of that. I vibe with who vibe with me. You know what I'm saying? So I never had to deal with politics. I don't even acknowledge any of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm from somewhere else. I don't gang bang, so I'm cool with Pyrus, Crips, Bloods. I'm cool with who cool with me. I don't get I don't do that. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? So even if they tried, I'm not that guy. That's not going to go. That's not going to go right. So
It's not gonna end well.
no. Some of us don't. And like anything else, bro. When you see that, and that does happen. But what happens is you have these squares that come from out of town, and they're seduced by wanting to be cool with the gang bangers and the crews, and they want to see. I really come from that. So I didn't need to get in with no click. I didn't need to get down with a set to get protection and get the look. I didn't need to do all that. You know what I'm saying? So when you participate in that and you put yourself in that environment, then
You're picking a
it
side.
can get a little dicey. It can,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
nah, I ain't do that.
I mean,
I'm cool with everybody.
gang banging is like gangster shit has always been glorified in the movies
Yeah.
and television, but specifically gang banging now and niggas that been to prison is like a whole industry in itself.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is interested in being able to look through somebody else's eyes
Yep.
in colors or
Yep.
or whatever set you claiming.
Mm-hmm.
Is it is it borderline? You know, like I see a lot of brothers saying a lot of shit. And I would say like Sodi was perfect, spot on.
Yep.
Certain, you know, like he's not about to put nobody out there. He's not, you
Right.
know, but he gonna rep the set. But he gonna do so. He's like a spokesperson, like a professional spokesperson.
Absolutely.
But you got other brothers out there that's dry snitching.
Yeah.
Has social media poisoned gangbanging?
Um, well, it's funny you say that. I had Melvin Farmer, OG, actually from Little Sodi set, H. Ray Gangsta Crip. He's one of the co-founding members. I had him on my show, and we actually got into somewhat of a heated debate in, to that about that. Because back in the day, which him and I agreed, back in the day, the streets, kind of influenced the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now
it's the other way around.
it's the other way around, and he disagreed. And the reason he asked me, he said, well, give me your opinion why you say that. Because now in this social media age, what you'll get, right, it's watered down to an extent, it's commercialized. Because say for instance, you'll get like how you asked me before, how did I avoid that? Well, say for instance, I don't want to throw names out there, but say you have a famous superstar singer from somewhere else, right, across the country. He comes to LA, he's successful, right? But he wants to be cool. He wants to be accepted. He wants to and listen, maybe he does have some cool cats that he connected with that just happened to be from a set, right?
Right.
And we saw it with Tupac, and so what happens is, they're seduced by that. They're enamored with that life. Like you say, people want to vicariously, look through that and
Exactly.
live through that. So now all of a sudden, he takes on that. So now him having influence and being on social media and having eyes on him, now he's got the real ones around him. You know what I'm saying? So now, the people watching think, oh shit, that's what I gotta be like. That's
Yeah.
what I need to do. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so now what happens is you may influence a square because like I know, motherfuckers can dress the part don't necessarily mean they the role, right? So they can take on the garb and the uniform and the energy and the body language and really not be that. But now they just mimicking the guy that they feel like is cool on social media. But when they run across somebody that's really about
About that
the
shit,
person that's really about it, he don't
it's
know
a
the
problem.
difference. He don't know that you just playing or faking. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's become commercialized. Like me and Ice-T said, like I had Ice-T on the show and I asked him, I said, what advice would you give to these youngsters to stay out of jail and stay off this RICO shit? And he said, anything that you do illegal should remain a secret. But we're in a day and age where if it's not filmed, it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? If it's not posted or if it's not talked about, it didn't happen. Everybody won't, clout. So, them feds and white folks got all the clout you want. They'll have your ass in the news, sitting up in the courtroom and
Looking
give you all
stupid
the
as
praise
hell.
you want.
looking dumb. Although
Looking
I
dumb.
will say that niggas been wanting clout since prohibition. Like if you was in the game, you knew there were certain places you could go to snut. Niggas always been telling on themselves. It's just they got a bigger platform to tell on themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, listen, back in the day, I'm not sure how old you are. I was born in 76. So coming up.
I'm older than you, bruh.
Okay. Well, then you already know what I'm finna say then.
Yeah.
Or you gonna understand. Back niggas told on themselves a little bit different back in the day. And it depends on where you were, right?
Yeah.
So if you in the hood, if you somewhere like Kansas City, Oklahoma, or even you in South Central Los Angeles, you in Compton, and it's poverty, and you was the nigga that had gold ropes with the anchor, and you sitting in, brand new car or 5.0 or Benz or
Yeah.
a BMW on Inkies or something, you're telling on yourself because you ain't got no job. The car you in probably costs more than the houses around here. You know what I mean? So yeah. So but now it's different because that's telling on yourself, and that's different than somebody wanting to get on social media in front of potentially millions of people and actually implicate themselves in something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
For
drill
a
music
like
has.
and a share. You
Oh
know,
my
so
god, drill
you know,
music has had a really, a dual effect.
yeah,
Like and I'm an old nigga that just loves drill music. I shouldn't. However, them niggas start saying specifically what they were doing,
yeah,
and they had to one up each other, and it just got to the point where now they on IG live and got I smoke so and so, and it
yeah.
just is. It's hard to understand for me. It just
It
is.
is. It's and you know when you make it through to the other side, when you evolve like how I have, like how we have, and it's heartbreaking really because they don't ever get a chance to grow through it. You know what I'm saying? Because if
Man,
they grew through it, like if you look at King Von, if you look at the thousands of dudes that then died gang banging, if they were able to get to this side and grow older, they could look back on their younger stuff, be like, damn, that shit was dumb. It wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? So they didn't even get a chance to evolve because I can, I don't judge them because they ain't nothing but the, little niggas that we used to be. You know what I'm saying? But,
King
I was
Von is different
afforded.
though, bro. That nigga was
Yeah.
just allegedly.
No. That's yeah. But even still, I know King Vons. I know King Vons that are still alive. That again, to my point, I know guys that got bodies. You know what I'm saying? But they were able to get older and evolve, and now they're citizens. But the shit they did when they was younger, it was what it was. They was lucky, but he just didn't get a chance to evolve and grow through the bullshit. So it's unfortunate, really, But yeah, to your point, drill music, man, took the shit. Yeah, Chicago, they took that shit to a whole nother level, Cause,
Man.
cause if you remember back in our day, like even when you look at gang culture, when you look back at MC8, you look back at DJ Quick, with the exception of DJ Quick's underground tape, the red tape, which he was blatantly gang banging, but that wasn't a national album; it was local. But when you look back at CMW and NWA, they never said sets. There
Yeah.
were insinuations if you knew, you know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
could look at the clothes, the tire, and pretty much tell what it is. But back in the day, that they didn't glorify that like that. It wasn't specific in terms of it was gangster shit, but it wasn't okay. We're from Kelly Park. We really don't like or MC8. I really don't like DJ Quick because he's from Treetop Pyru. I'm from Tragnu. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it can get dangerous, bro. It can get really dangerous.
Yeah. Snoop changed all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say probably like Snoop was probably the first one where I vividly remember repping his set fully
Yeah.
and letting you
Yeah.
know I'm a Crip nigga from Long Beach, the whole thing.
But the only difference with Snoop though is he represented, but he didn't identify ops. So he
True.
didn't bang on nobody,
He didn't have to though. Like
Yeah.
like from I grew up in the Midwest.
Yeah.
The way we looking at it, it wasn't really gangs. Like we didn't have a gang culture in Detroit when I was growing up. We had one gang, and they were the alpha gang, and then you had a bunch of little niggas that didn't matter.
Where'd you grow up?
Detroit,
Oh yeah, it went down in Detroit. Yeah.
but it wasn't necessarily like gangs.
Right.
It was it was our hood against
It was
your
cliques.
hood. It
Yeah,
was
like
cliques.
click.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all had
But
money makers up there. Detroit was about that money.
that's what it was about.
Y'all was
Like,
about players. It was players and niggas get money up there.
pretty much. Like when I was in high school, I knew niggas that had apartments in Atlanta.
That's
I
right.
moved to Cleveland and realized that everybody didn't operate that way.
Right.
It's not that niggas in Cleveland don't get money. It's not that niggas in Cleveland don't get down, because they do.
They do.
How they flaunted they shit is completely different.
Yep.
Them niggas ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Yeah. It's niggas that been on the east side for 50 years and never saw the west side.
Yeah. Oh, that's how it was back in the day. Before social media, bro, motherfuckers really didn't move around for real. You know what I mean?
I couldn't
Like,
understand that shit though. How you gonna go to the other side of fucking town and you got money?
yeah. Yeah. That's real. Hey, that's real.
Yo, okay, so you do movies. Wait. And wait a minute. How do you end up hooking up with Master P? I need to know that.
Um, Man, that was way back. That was 1995. Basically, I started as a rapper. Me and my partner Cisco, we had a group called CCG. Wasn't much industry in Kansas City. The only people at that time out of Kansas City rappers that had done anything was like Tech Nine and Velva Cardi. Velva Cardi was like probably one of the first rappers out of Kansas City. No, he was. That got a major deal with Rick Rubin. Um, it was a handful of people from Kansas City. So this is pre-social media. So you had to. It was that listen to my demo, age. You needed a record company at that time, or so we thought, until E40 and all of them and JT the Bigger Figure start coming in with the independent understanding. But I was just sending tapes to everybody, and landed with No Limit. And the first song that we did for No Limit was Down South Hustlers. We did the song RIP. And if you look on the inside of the album cover, you'll see my picture on the inside with CTG coming soon. So yeah, that's how I got with Pete, bro. Just sending tapes out. I called him consistently, left messages, you know what I mean? So hopefully he could call me back, and he did. I was just persistent, but initially we were trying to go to Ruthless Records, and actually that was looking kind of promising, but Easy died, so when Easy died, all communication with Ruthless ceased, and so we went with No Limit that summer.
What's P like?
Huh?
What's Master P like?
Man, listen, it's been so many. P's been my friend almost 30 years, bro. P lives 7 minutes from me,
Oh, you rich then, huh?
Huh?
You rich, nigga.
Oh no, not at all. Now
You got a baby grand behind you, bro,
No,
and that's a real one.
He in the rich part. I'm in the common part, the regular rich. I'm in the common rich part. But P is my brother, man. He cool cat. I learned a lot from him. I learned consistency, work ethic. Yeah, he's what you see. You know what I mean? A consummate hustler, man. Always on it.
Why he get so much hate? Why do you think?
Listen, that's what happens, bro. Your success takes a shot at you. You're not successful. You're not, if you don't, who doesn't get hate? You know what I mean? So, he's not above that. Hell, they hated Jesus. So, he's not special. That comes with the territory.
Sometimes it bothers me. And not to say that I'm a fan of everything Master P has tried, but Master P tries every fucking thing. And how niggas get mad at that is retarded to me. And I know, learning challenge or whatever the fuck the term is.
Listen, man, we all get it. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on the level of where you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, with me in the podcast shit, I get 99% love, but there's a 1% of just social media. It's a gift and a curse. It affords a voice to any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people's comments and people's vitriol and people's negativity is a reflection of where they are. Everybody not gonna be happy for you. If you look to be living your best life and seemingly everything goes right for you, and you're successful, you have resource, you have money, people love you, everybody can't take that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So it just like with Beyonce, you probably got 50 million. You know how crazy the Beehive is. You got 50 million people that love her, swear by her, call her queen. But you got another 50 million that's like, man, we don't care about that bitch. You know what I mean? So that's just, it comes with the territory.
Speaking of the podcast, how long have you been doing it, and why?
The podcast will just be 2 years old in May.
Wow.
I did the podcast, brother, just So during the quarantine, man, everybody was sitting still. I really started watching. I was inspired by Gangster Chronicles, Vlad TV, Drink Champs. And I kind of had a little experience about 7 years ago. Master P had a show called Doing the Most on Playboy Radio, and it was
Hmm.
kind of like a Howard Stern type TV show, radio show, and he, brought me on board, and it was Jay Tweezy, who is a program director. He was a program director down in Baton Rouge, and he worked with No Limit for many years. But Jay Tweezy just kind of told me like, "Court, you're kind of good at this. You have a knack for this." And I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah," but that was several years ago. So, during the quarantine, as the podcast space started to grow, I figured I had a something to offer in that space, and so my co-producer, producer Ken, he's a friend of mine, close friend of mine. We would always have these conversations about music. We always talked about 90s rap and, just the golden era, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And we was like, man, we should do something. We should just do a podcast and just talk about SIBO and Spice One and Brother Lynch and all the people that we love and grew up on it. And so that was kind of the initial um motivation for it. But as we started getting into production, and of course, me being in LA for so long, I've made these connections with people and cultivated these relationships. I
Hmm.
just start calling people like in my phone, like, "Hey, you want to come through? You want to come through?" So it just kind of morphed into something else.
Hmm.
And as I began to research different platforms, I started to see how I could scale the brand, and people responded to what I was doing. So I really leaned into it, and man, I've been enjoying it. I promise you, I love what I do,
You
and
look
I
hella
think it
comfortable,
resonates.
bro.
Hmm.
You look hella comfortable.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I enjoy what I do, bro. I've had, the first big compliment that I got, because sometimes we all need those reaffirmations,
Man.
and I was doing X-Rated. X-Rated was one of my first interviews, and it was about the interview with X-Rated is 3 hours long. He had one of his business partners with him, who was an older gentleman from like England. He
Hmm.
had an accent, and a thick accent, and so he sat there for the whole 3 hours, and he came over to me afterwards and was like, "You know what?" He said, "You have a skill set." He said, I was really entertained. He said, "You're good at this." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Wow." And that's what kind of that little thing that he said, I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I can, do this." So, and people have been saying that, so I enjoy what I do. I'm just glad that it's resonating with people.
You seem, the goonier the person is, the more comfortable you seem.
You said the what the person is?
The goonier.
Oh,
Like you got some niggas with hella street stripes coming through the
yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah,
And the more
yeah,
stripes they got, the more comfortable you seem to get.
yeah, yeah, yep. Um,
What's the rationale for that?
Man, it's a familiar space. That's who I've been around most of my life. But then too, not only that, I was very intentional. I am very intentional about,
Hmm.
because I always say that my platform is a place where I would say it's black excellence and nigga shit, right? So it was important to me that I humanized our culture and the people in our culture, because we're not a monolith. We're not just one way. We're not these, savage beasts prone to criminality and all of that. Yeah, I have goons and I have some street guys, but these guys are still fathers, brothers, sons. They still laugh, they still hurt, they have kids, they have aspirations, and you know, none of us are infallible. So I like to highlight the journey and humanize my guests, you know what I mean? Because they still are human. And then I like to showcase the evolution of, because many of the stories, yeah, they start off rough and we've all done what we've done, but how did we get to this place? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So even if you look at some of the pictures that I use, I'm always very cognizant to use pictures of people that we reference, whether it be rappers or the people on the show, of them smiling. You know what I'm saying? Not just always the tough and posturing. Yeah, that's cool. But
That's interesting that you bring that up because me and Sodi had a conversation,
mhm,
and I was telling him, and it's to my detriment, as because I've been doing this for like 8 years now. But it's definitely to my detriment that I refuse to, like, if you, let's say you said some shit that I know is gonna go viral, but
mhm,
it's probably gonna fuck your whole podcast up.
mhm.
They're gonna have to come find that out of this show. That's not a clip I'm gonna use.
Right.
And
Right.
he was like, that's not your responsibility.
Mhm.
That's the person you're interviewing's responsibility not to say that shit. And I said, yeah, but I gotta sleep at night.
That's real. That's real. We share in that responsibility. Sometimes I have protected people from themselves, but it's not completely their fault, especially when they're dealing with me, because like you said, and like that older gentleman said, and people have said this, I have an uncanny ability to make people feel comfortable. So now they forget about the cameras. They forget about what we're doing. We're just talking, right? And so there's been several times where I have even where they didn't say anything. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, we just gonna take that out. You know what I'm saying? We gonna take that out. And then I've had times where they've thought about it and called me like, you know what, man, let's maybe take that out. Okay, no problem. But I think like what you're speaking to is when you do something and create something with integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand that because I've studied this game, I've studied this space, and yes, controversy sells. Everybody loves a train wreck. Like you said, everybody wants to vicariously live through other people's tragedies and
Yeah.
bullshit and all of that. They're entertained by it. So I just don't do that, bro. I don't do that. I think that's a one trick pony. I'm not knocking those who do, but I think that it's not sustainable and it gets old. And then too, with me really being from that and really understanding the streets, I understand the ramifications of it. See, we can play on this podcast and I can hype you up and I can do the captions and I can, gaslight and do all of that. But when the shit go down,
It's a problem for somebody.
yeah, and I sharing that, right?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
ain't. I'm somewhere safe, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't fed into this bullshit, and so I think it's just a response. That's just the way I choose to do what I do because I'm really from the environment, and I see how social media can exacerbate and really, feed into these violent encounters. It get people killed, So I don't want to be a part of that, And like I said, we got the nigga shit, and then it's a way you can do it. I believe that you can still entertain controversy, but there's a way that you can do it. You
Yeah.
can still do it with class. You can still do it with cool. You can still do it responsibly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's and another thing that I try to do, and what I wish social media would be mindful of. It's cool. Everybody got an opinion. It's cool to have a diatribe. It's cool to debate. It's cool to disagree. That makes for great content. But it's one thing to let's discuss the issue. Let's debate the issue. But when you start attacking the person, you know what I mean? And that usually comes from a lack of intelligence. When you corner a motherfucker and they ain't got nothing to say what they yo mama, that's why you fat. That's why you ugly. So because they lose in the argument, you know what I mean?
Facts.
So I think
Facts.
you have to be very cognizant. It's like, yeah, we can talk about the issue, but when you start making it personal and start trying to, expose and out and embarrass people, that's when shit get. Everybody ain't gonna take that. Just like in real life, you gotta listen, Willie D said it the best, and homie, don't play that. You know what I'm saying? What he say? Stop heating up your homeboy's grill, because that's how niggas get killed. Fools like to trip when you're serious. So to kill the bullshit, I stop tripping with him, period. You know what I mean? Like
I ain't
prevention
never
is
in
the
my
best
life
cure.
heard nobody quote Willie D.
Yeah, prevention is
I
the
take
best
that
cure.
back. My cousin used to sing "Bald Headed Hoes" religiously.
Oh yeah. Bald headed hoes is a classic, man. Oh, hey, bald headed hoes, and my wife likes welfare. Welfare, bitches. Welfare. People waiting, bro. Willie D is a fool. Shout out to Willie
Man.
D.
Yo, and full disclosure, like I
Yeah.
used to rock with Doggy Diamonds, like heavy.
Yeah.
I had an event some years ago. He hosted it, and I made a comment to him that he did not like, and I couldn't understand why this nigga got so upset about this comment. It dawned on me last week, literally last, and this was years ago, that it
Okay.
wasn't that he was upset. He was trying to teach me something about how to be political. And I didn't get that shit.
Yeah.
And for years, I'm nigga shit, me.
Yeah.
But it just, I was just, I don't know why the light went on. Like when, especially like start promoting the show with you, and the light just, and I'm like, oh wow, that's what this nigga was trying to tell me.
What was he trying to tell you?
There's a better way to go about voicing something to somebody you cool with.
Yeah.
And that what you say, even though it may seem harmless to you because you being honest about how you feel about a certain situation,
Right.
sometimes you don't need to say that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometime we, folks ain't keeping it real. They just talking too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we in the day and age of, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. I'm Generation X. I was raised by older people too. So it's a different way that you carry yourself. Yes, you can be honest, but there's time and place. Everything that you think and it's in your head doesn't need to be said.
Yeah, it took me a while to get to that space. Let me ask you
Oh,
this.
okay.
When's the last time you was angry? Like where niggas around you was like, oh, this nigga is pissed.
I don't get angry like that.
You've gotten angry at some point in life, nigga. You can't tell me you haven't.
Yeah, but
I don't need to know the whys. Just because
No,
you just
you know
seem
what?
like the coolest nigga on the planet. I need to know there's a pulse back there.
yeah, you know what? Because listen, I've slapped niggas and wasn't mad. It was just necessary. You know what I'm saying?
No, nigga, I don't. I've never done that.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you just gotta do shit. You may not necessarily be rattled, but it's necessary for a response. I've been agitated. But angry? Nah, I don't really get angry, to be very honest with
Never?
you. It would have, you know why? Because I'm a very pragmatic person. I look at things on the scale of life. I don't trip on trivial things. And, unless it's something, I can't think of anything that has been done to me so egregious where I would just be angry. You know what I'm saying? Now I get agitated, I get aggravated, but like just angry, just yeah, nah, I can't really go to nothing. Not in recent years.
Nigga, that's a gift from God.
Well,
I get
I think
angry
it's-
on the freeway.
Nah, man, because you know what? It's life is about perspective. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I learned too. Excuse me. Happiness, right? Happiness is an inside job, but happiness is pretty much dictated on what happens. You know what I'm saying? Happiness
Yeah.
can be jarred by what happens. So if you got joy, if you got peace, if you have, understanding of who you are. Like when I was younger, I don't respond to 99.9% of the shit that I respond to when I was younger, because you live life long enough to teach you how to live. So, now it's like you don't take so many things personal because
Yeah.
you just have a wisdom, right? So
Yeah.
you got to do the thinking for you and everybody else. So say for instance, I've had encounters where, like I said before, no one has disrespected me egregiously, but I've had little situations that may or may not could have escalated, but I'm about diffusing things. But I start looking at niggas like, you know what? This nigga got an IEP. I know a slow motherfucker when I see one. This nigga was, so you start looking at shit from a broader scope of what's going on. It's like he ain't tough. This nigga was just in the slow class. Like he's a nigga who had behavioral problems as a kid and grew into that adult. So I'm not gonna take it personal because this is a nigga with some issues. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
bigger than me. That's bigger than me.
Yeah.
So you start to see shit a little bit different. But yeah, I protect my peace at all costs, bro. I don't really get angry like that.
What interview did you finish and was like, man, I was just trash?
You know what? I can't say that I've had that. Now, I will say there have been interviews that I did. I've enjoyed every one that I've done because I learned something
Really?
each time. But
Oh man, I haven't.
it's been some that I thought were maybe okay and just average, and then I go back and look at them again doing the edit notes and was like, damn, like this motherfucker was good. You know what I mean? So I haven't had that yet. I haven't had that.
Man, and I tell this all the time though, man. My Chuck D interview, I was horrible.
You said it was horrible?
Yes, I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just was not prepared. Completely dropped the ball. It was Chuck D. I was fucking nervous. It just.
But you
it was
still
bad.
completed it. You still
I
completed
did,
it. And
but
you
it was
showed
like,
up.
it was
Even
like
being nervous.
no,
you
bro.
showed up.
It was like fucking the prom queen, and you only got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It was ugly. I'm not gonna lie, but it's Chuck D.
Yeah.
So I could go to my grave saying I got to talk to one of the biggest legends in the history of
Absolutely.
hip hop.
Absolutely.
I just try not to
Hey.
overthink it.
It's funny that you say that about Chuck D. Man, I just had a very humbling moment. So Ice-T, when he got his his Hollywood Walk of Fame star about a month ago, he invited me. And so I'm there, I'm chilling with Ice-T and his family. And so Chuck D, Ice Cube, Mike Epps, King T, of course, all his peers that he's cool with came. And so when Chuck D was there, I go to greet him and I'm like, AOG, much respect, man, appreciate what you've given the game. Woo, woo, woo. My name, Big Court. He was like, nigga, I know who you are. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? But not only did he say that, I seen King T did the same thing. Came up to, what's up, OG? Woo, woo, woo. He was like, nah, I know who you are. I rock with you. I rock with your shit. So I was like, damn, that was a very humbling experience. So that was my first Chuck D encounter, just about February, 2 months, in February of this year.
So you haven't interviewed King T?
No,
That's one I need to see, bro.
That was my first time meeting him at the Hollywood Walk of Fame by Ice-T.
That's one I need to see.
Yep.
Like probably the most underrated legend on the West
Absolutely.
Coast. And I don't mean
Absolutely.
just like as an artist, but the niggas he put on.
Was an alcoholic?
Oh my God, man.
Yep.
The legacy exhibit, the Alcoholics, man. Just the legacy that this man, the footprint
Yeah.
he left on the game.
Yeah. King T facilitated a lot of shit behind the scenes that people don't know about. He was the glue that kind of, bonded a lot of situations. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Who won't you interview? Is there somebody like Tekashi 6ix9ine or somebody? Would you interview him?
Yeah, for sure.
Is there somebody you like? No, I will not interview that person.
I wouldn't interview pedophiles and rapists. Yeah,
R. Kelly.
but
No R. Kelly.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'll
That'd be
be honest
tough.
with you. I don't know the super details or whatever, but to me, there's some gray areas with the R. Kelly thing. I know people don't like to admit it and like to hear it, but it is, to me, in my opinion, in terms of when you talk about statutory or when you talk about, like predatory, you know what I mean? Because listen, in our day, again, like I said, I graduated in the 90s, and I'm not saying that it's right, but listen, I went to high school with girls that was getting picked up by R. Kellys. You know what I'm saying? They would come to school, wearing the dude's starter coat, wearing his chain, and he got the Dayton's on the Chevy, and and all of that. And, you know, they 16, 17, they boyfriend 25, 26 years old, you know. And even related to my mom, like my mom and my dad. My dad was the security guard in my mom's high school. You know what I'm saying? He was like 30. My mom was like 17. You know what I mean? And they got married when she was like 19 or 20 or some shit, had me at 22. But I'm just saying, like, so I think that
It
in
was
my
different.
opinion, huh?
It was definitely a different time frame.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I say, when you, I think there's some gray areas there. But now when you start talking about, again, I don't know the details, but when you start talking about 13, 14, 15, yeah, that's a little, you know, but that's 17, you know, 18, you know, that I don't know. I mean,
It's hella
I had
creepy.
my first child at 16. So, you know,
Yeah, I was hella young too,
yeah,
but I
and
wasn't, you know.
technically, you know, shit, my old lady could have gotten in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because she was older than me. Now, I know she gonna tell the whole story. I had lied about my age, but nevertheless, still, she could have got in trouble. You know what I mean? Legally, you know what I
Yo,
mean? So,
and I forgot how did you end up hooking up with Digital Soapbox?
oh, so yeah, shout out to the homie Steel. Um, Listen, like, hey, man, you know, God is good, bro. I was inspired by Gangster Chronicles. That was one of the platforms that I watched during the quarantine. And when I started podcasting, I just always knew that that would be one of the platforms that I wanted to do. And so probably within a year's time, I did Gangster Chronicles. And so in doing Gangster Chronicles, you know, I just hit it off with Steel, and Steel would, you know, lace me, and even still to this day, you know, laces me with a lot of game, a lot of knowledge in this content space. And you know, he invited me to come aboard and take on the position of vice president because he's launching a fast channel called Ron TV. And so he felt that I brought value to that situation.
Hmm.
So yeah, that how that came about is just simply, you know, just like I tell people, man, you know, you network, you know, your network is your network, you know,
Facts.
and cultivating, you know, relationships and respectful relationships and you know, my grandmother used to tell me, man, you know, good manners and being able to speak well will get you in doors that money can't, you know. So I
Hmm.
think just, you know, comporting yourself with some dignity and with some respect and with some class. And yeah, and that's how that came about.
You get three people you can interview, dead or alive. Who you got?
um, well, I say Mike Tyson, Magic Johnson, and Muhammad Ali.
I would definitely. I would want to see you interview Tupac.
Oh shit, hold on. Let me plug up my phone before I go dead real quick.
Oh, you
Tupac?
good? Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely do that. Definitely.
I think
Yeah,
that
yeah, me and Tupac, oh man, we would
would
talk
have
for
a great
hours.
con. Yeah, I would have a
We would
great
talk for
conversation.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would talk for hours. I mean, I think, you know, as he used to say, his lingo, soldiers of the same struggle. You know, yeah, me and Tupac we would hit it off.
Although the Muhammad Ali one, yeah, I could see that, especially a
Yeah.
prime Ali.
Oh yeah, Prime Ali, Prime Ali. You know, I'm you know, I get inspired and I'm very it's something about people who's been through stuff. You know, I love to I just love documenting the journey, bro. You know what I mean? The struggle. I've always been a fan of shows like Behind the Music
Oh my
and
god,
different things like that. Cause, you know, everybody, you know, the word everybody's struggling with something, bro. You know what I mean? And everybody
man.
needs that seed of inspiration and to know that okay, it can happen. You're not the only one going through something. And that's what I try to do with my show. You know, like I said, when I created Holding Court Podcast, I wanted it to be, you know, entertaining. I wanted it to be inspirational. Um,
Hmm.
You know, like I said, man, I done had people come on my show and cry, gangsters and everything. You know what I mean? And it becomes like therapy to them. So I just wanted to make a mark with it. I want to entertain. That's cool, but I want to make a mark with it.
Definitely did that, bro. Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
You know, I'm absolutely a fan. Who do you study? Who you know, when you go back like Donnie Simpson for me, it's just that guy. I go back
Yeah,
and watch
Donnie
some of the
Simpson was
game
dope.
tapes, listen to some of his interviews, and even to this day, he's still doing fire interviews. Um, who do you like? Who's the GOAT interviewer for you?
Man, that's a good question. That's a good question. Um, I mean, to be honest with you, and it's probably controversial with me giving this, but now if you say old school, you know, I'm inspired by everybody from Oprah to Barbara Walters to um uh
If we're gonna take it
uh
old school, I got to go Donahue.
yeah, Donahue, even what's homie that used to have the shoulders on CNN. Um remember old white dude used to wear the glasses and had the big shoulders and be sitting like this. Damn,
Oh, Larry King.
Larry King. Larry
Yeah, that nigga
King.
hit the shoulders.
Um, remember he be sitting and his shoulders
Yeah,
be like this,
as a
and he
creepy
be
looking dude. But yes,
yeah,
nigga used to get the interview gold.
man, he would, and Larry King would, you know, he would go. He was controversial. He would go in. You know what I mean? He would ask the difficult questions.
He would.
Barbara Walters, Oprah, um, Larry King, Arsenio Hall. Um, man, it's a lot of them. It's one other one that I'm thinking of as well. But if you want to go to recently, and I know it'll
Mhm.
be controversial, but no matter what you say, and sometimes I think he can come off insensitive, but Vlad, Vlad is really good at what he does. You know,
He a cheat
um,
code though.
huh?
He a cheat code.
What you think the cheat code is?
He got a team doing his research. I
Yeah,
don't
for
think.
sure,
But
for
that's
sure.
to me that is a cheat code, and it's an unfair advantage because you're
Ah,
not really doing the interview. You come in doing somebody else's view of the interview.
I wouldn't necessarily look at it like that.
Okay.
Because I think it's about the finished product, right? It
Mm,
doesn't matter. Like it's like a boxer. You know what I'm saying? A boxer, he gets in the ring by himself, but leading up to that, he's got a trainer, he's got a conditioning coach, he's
yeah.
got a dietitian, a nutritionist, he's got, you know what I'm saying? So um he still has to execute, you know.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily say that. But the only thing that I say with Vlad, he's very good at what he does, but his thing is different. See, I'm not an investigative journalist. You know,
Yeah.
that's not what I do. I just have a conversation. I don't even necessarily consider them interviews, but um, I think sometimes he could just, in my opinion, be a little bit, uh, uh, um, you know, insensitive, and 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 I think he stirs the pot, you know, unnecessarily sometimes. And I just don't feel like you have to do that, you know.
I believe he pays a lot for people to come
Hmm.
on his show, and in doing
Depending on
so,
who it is. Yep.
at this point going on Vlad, you are very like if you don't know what you're getting yourself into at
That's
this
right.
point going on Vlad, you're a
That's right.
functioning idiot.
That's right.
And you kind of deserve whatever. So he takes advantage of that and saying, you know what, I'm going to give you as many opportunities to hang yourself as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you do, it's going to be 1,005-minute clips of that interview of you hanging yourself over and over and
Man,
over.
listen, I'd have folks on my channel talk shit on me for having, they'll be like, yeah, you doing like Vlad. And I'm like, I've never went past, maybe early on, I maybe went up to part 10. But in recent time, I go 5 or 6 clips. I seen Vlad with Boosie was on like part 45. And I looked at it and I couldn't believe it. I said, Parts 45. What? Boy, he breaking that shit down like a brick. I mean, he literally breaking Nick
He put
down
so
the
much cut on the interview, bro.
Oh man, Flash stretching his shit, boy. He stretched the fuck out that interview. I said 45, like, and these motherfuckers over my channel, like, man, drop the whole interview. I'm like, it's just been 5. It's 5 clips.
see, I'm just, like my shit is live. It's just in the basement.
Yeah.
I definitely would love to be able to just go across the country and interview motherfuckers because it does add something to it. But to be quite honest, my favorite interviews are actually the radio ones. Like I started out doing blog talk, and people forget they doing an interview 5 minutes into it.
Yep.
And it just makes it they're much more comfortable.
That's a testament to you being good at what you do too, though.
I've always been kind of easy to talk to. So I've always been aware of that. And like, man, wish I could make some fucking money off of this shit. I'm still waiting on that, but that's why I enjoy your shit so much. It's like
I appreciate that.
Who you're talking to. You. How long do you research?
Man, listen, if I can be very honest with you, depending on who it is, not much really, I don't know, man. So I think, not to sound any kind of way, bro, but I think some of it is just, it's just communication and understanding how to communicate.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can just, I don't know. I it's funny. I can't even really put, because people have asked me that. I don't do a whole bunch. And like with certain people like Ice-T, I didn't have to do anything, because I'm a fan. So I knew it all. So that's always really fun when I have
that nigga gave you a hell of a compliment too, man.
Oh yeah.
And he basically was like, I'm only here because you official.
Man, listen. And that's real. That's real life. And the thing about it, all he said was authentic and true. Because when he called me, was like, yeah, Court. He was like, I'm coming out there. He said, I want to pull up. Let's do it again. And so, so he said, yeah, it was so nice. We got to do it twice. So, that's the OG, bro. I can always call Ice and get some advice, and I do. But yeah, he really fuck rocks with me, bro, and he appreciates the platform. And again, like he said, he was like, Court, you don't lead with leading questions. You're respectful. You still keep it 100, but it's not all the bullshit. And again, like I said, I don't knock those that do that, but
my bad. Somebody was just saying you sound just like Ice-T. I was just reading the comments. Somebody said you sound just like Ice-T.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you did, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm gonna wrap it up.
People laugh when I do it. People ask me to do that.
You sound just like that nigga, man. Yo, how do I get one of those hoodies? Where do I buy those?
Get one of what?
The Holding Court hoodies.
Oh, man, did somebody ask? Tell him to.
Me. I'm asking because I want to buy one. I seen the camouflage one, and I want to cop one.
I can send you one. I have my website being done now. So
okay.
They not out yet.
Okay. I done took up way more time than I was allotted.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. I allotted this time, man. I appreciate you wanting to even get down, brother. And listen, you've been giving me my flowers, man. I can tell that you're experienced at this, and you asked some great questions, brother. So, hey, shout out to you. Salute to you, bro.
Well, you know what? I'm an old nigga that just don't care all that much, bro, about what people think. And I'm not the biggest. It depends. I'm kind of like you. Me and you share a lot of similar aspects in how we do what we do. And that's why I kind of wanted to talk to you, man, because I'm a fan, like I said. But like, I don't necessarily do that much research. about the person per se. I'll look at tidbits and glean a
Right.
couple of things. Okay, yeah, I like
Right.
that. I like that. But I
Right.
really like to listen to their other interviews and get a sense of their soul.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So you
like
just articulated what I couldn't. I couldn't find the words, but that's what it is. That's what I do. Exactly
yeah,
what you just
you know,
said.
so, yeah. It just some people and unlike you, I've had bad interviews with people that I just like, man, this shit was horrible, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't me. You know, there
Mm-hmm.
have been not many, but over the years, you know, somebody reach out, hey, I think you should interview so and so. Oh well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I respect so and so, so yeah, I'll interview that person. That person is like interviewing Lint.
Yeah.
It
I'm trying to think. I can be honest, bro. Man, listen, the
You've been
podcast
able to be
guys.
more intentional with your shit. Like I can't be that intentional. Well, I can now. I'm in a different
Yeah.
space, you know,
Yeah.
but I can't be, you know, especially early on. I didn't, you know, I didn't have the resources or the network
Mm.
to, you know, I had to take whoever would come talk to me.
No, I understand that. I understand that. And yeah, I don't know, man. The podcast guys have blessed me, bro. I've only had, I mean, if I've done 50 or 60 people, I've only had maybe one or two cancels. You know what I'm saying? Um, um, Most of the time, bro, it's been good. Like I can't go to anything right off the top of. Now I can say, I've had people on my platform that had some weird energy.
Yeah.
Like for instance, when I had Crit Mac on the first time that he came
Your man
on,
was wilding.
yeah, he was kind of yeah, it was a weird energy. Like he was a little I'm gonna say intimidated. He was a little intimidated, which translated to him being somewhat defensive.
Hmm.
Um then when he came on the second time, he was a little more laid back, but because we kind of had rapport. But
Hmm.
there were instances, if you go back and watch it, to where I kind of had to reel him back in. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But nah, I haven't really. Yeah, it's man, everybody's been good though. I can't
I
say.
don't. I think that brother is. I'm trying to think of a delicate way to say this, but intellectually, he's not able to express himself in a
Yeah.
way like I think he thinks it, and it doesn't come
Hmm.
out the way he wants it to. And when people are like that, it's difficult for them publicly speaking.
Yeah, I personally think that he's probably on the spectrum, you know,
Yeah.
and he probably has some type of personality defects.
Yeah.
Um, that's why when he came on my show, I didn't want to exploit him.
Yeah.
I actually talked to him like a big brother, like an OG, because he's
Hmm.
younger than my oldest child, and
Hmm.
so I basically was telling him the real. I let him, push his line and set the foundation of who he is and where he's at. And then I provided him with, I contextualized what he was on, letting him
Yeah.
know I've been there, done that,
Yeah.
and this is what's going to happen if you keep going down that road, which inevitably did happen. So, you know,
Yeah, I feel you on that. You know, on that note, bro, I'm gonna wrap it up. My niece is upstairs going crazy. If I don't go
say
feed
it
her,
again.
man, my niece is upstairs going
Oh, okay.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't hear that.
Nah, I can't.
Oh my god, it's like a stampede upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I gotta go feed this kid.
All
Love
right.
her to death. This has been an honor, bruh.
Hey,
Completely.
likewise, brother.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I could
Anytime you
ever
want
do it.
me, anytime you want me, brother, just let me know and we can get down.
Oh, if there's anything, I'm not sure what, but if there's anything I can possibly do for you, bro, please just say the word and I got you.
Likewise,
Yo,
brother. Thank
I
you
am
for
gonna
having me.
hit you up, man. I want to buy one of them hoodies, though, bro.
I appreciate the support, man. Everybody watching, go subscribe, like, and comment to the Holding Court podcast. Follow me on IG at I am Big Court. Yeah, I appreciate everybody's support.
No doubt, man. I'll throw a couple clips because I don't have no team, bro. I gotta do all this shit myself. I'm gonna throw.
Already.
I'm gonna throw a couple clips together this week, and I inbox them to you. I just put them out there. They'll be dope.
All good. Just tag me and I'll repost it.
All right, I got you, bro. Appreciate your
All right,
time,
bro.
your energy, and your wisdom, man. And y'all already know, man. It's your talent that gets you on the show, man. But it's your story that makes you stand out. It's his jobs. It's been Big Court from Holding Court Podcast. It's been Intellectually Petty Radio, man. We out.
Hello.
Salute. Y'all have a good one. Peace.